What is up, guys? Peach here, back with another Destiny video. It's Wednesday, which means it's Arms Day. So, let's hop right into it and see what Banshee has for us this week. So, starting off on my Warlike, we've got the Ufren HC4, which is a hand cannon that actually isn't too bad if it has a decent roll. So, let's look at them real fast. We've got this one, it's got Zen Moment, Single Point Slang, Rescue Mag, Exhumed, and Rifled Barrel. Rifled Barrel is really the only perk on here that I like. Zen Moment, not going to make an impact with the small magazine. Rescue Mag can be nice, and Exhumed can be nice, but honestly I'd pass on that one. We've got this third one here with Mulligan, Lightweight, Icarus, Eye of the Storm, and Injection Mold. Again, don't really like any of these. Mulligan can be nice, but the rest of them are kind of meh. So the second one here is probably the one I'd go with, guys. We've got Extended Mag, which is nice, or you can use Reinforced Barrel, which increases your range. Eye of the Storm or Life Support are both decent. And then we've got Mulligan again. So, this is the best roll out of the three, in my opinion. However, it's still not the greatest roll for this weapon. So, you could hang on to it. However, it is also a weapon next week. So, I'll leave that up to you guys if you want to get that one. But you can still get it for next week right here. So, let's go ahead and hop in to the second weapon this week. So we've got the Suros DIS-47 Scout Rifle. This one has Rodeo, which is kind of nice. So it's got high caliber rounds, oiled frame, which increases a reload with a reduction to range. We've got Rodeo, speed reload, and small bore. This is a decent roll. I'm not gonna lie, it's a decent roll. However, it's not the best one of the week. We've also got this one. Got high caliber rounds, appended magazine, which just increases the magazine side, but gives us a slower reload. Hip fire, lightweight, and then we have small bore again. However, this one here is probably the best roll in my opinion. We've got perfect balance, rodeo, and injection mold. So this thing's gonna have a decent amount of stability to it. So this is definitely the one I would pick up if I were you. And that's the one I'm going to pick up. Bam. Alright, so I'm going to switch to my Titan, and then we'll be back with the rest of the loot. Alright guys, we are back on my Titan, so let's go ahead and see what the rest of the guns are that Banshee has for us this week. So first we've got the Strongbow D, and right off the bat I'm going to say I don't use shotguns enough to know which one's the best. So really this one is going to be whichever one that you prefer the most. So this one's got close and or personal, short period of 25% bonus melee damage after landing a hit with this weapon, which that can be nice in the Crucible, especially if you've only taken them down to like half health. But, so that can be good. We got knee pad slide further when this weapon is equipped, which is also kind of nice. However, it doesn't have any range perks. None of them really have that great of range perks, so we'll have to just judge it off the other perks. This one's got Last Resort and Hot Swap, which can be nice, but I don't think Hot Swap is as big of a deal on a shotgun, since usually you have to be pretty close up and personal to get somebody with a shotgun. Hand loaded increases the range just by a tiny bit, but still not anything super noticeable. And then this one, we've got Crowd Control, Hot Swap, and then we've got a Perfect Balance or Hand Laid Stock, which is increases the stability almost to max. However, I don't really like that one either. So it's really up to your personal choice. This one's just going to turn into legendary marks for me. Looking at the Aofi Rua D, again, this is a sniper rifle that I don't really like. It's got that high rate of fire and lower impact. This one's pretty nice though. This is probably the best one in my opinion. We've got Rodeo, partial refund, chance to return a portion of the magazine after an assist. There's explosive rounds or snapshot, or you can also use brace frame, which Really brings up your stability, which is nice on this kind of sniper. So that's the one I would go with. We'll take a look at these other ones real fast. You've got Take a Knee, which is kind of a garbage perk. Zen Moment, again, not the best on a sniper rifle. You've still got Explosive Rounds, Snapshot, and Braced Frame. But those other two perks I don't really care for as much. Then you've got Rodeo on this one again. You got Guerrilla Fighter, increased accuracy, handling, and damage resistance when shooting this weapon from behind cover. So that can be alright, but again, it's not really something you would really go for. And then you got Explosive Rounds, Quick Draw, and a Pendant Magazine. So that one's probably the worst out of the three. So again, I'd go with this one. But again, make your own decisions. Don't go just by me. And then finally, we got the Uzumi RR4 sniper rifle this week. So, got performance bonus, which is pretty nice. Then we've got lightweight, Zen Moment, Eye of the Storm, and Casket Mag. Those are all just okay perks. Actually, all three of these just have kind of okay perks. There's none that really stand out to me this week. On this one, we've again got bonus or performance bonus. You got lightweight, replenish, mulligan. That's probably the better perk, and oiled frame. So again, not that great. And then finally on this last one, we've got Army of One, single point sling, Zen Moment, rifled barrel, and exhumed. So honestly, I think this middle one's the best just because of mulligan and performance bonus. So it's not that great this week with this sniper, so just pick it up and go with it. So our field test weapons this week, we've got the Hacky Pulse Rifle to use in the Crucible, a Suros Rocket Launcher to use against high-ranking enemies. You've got a Suros Rocket Launcher to use in the Crucible. We've got a Hacky Shotgun to use against Hive, and a Hacky Shotgun to use in the Crucible. So, pretty even across the board. 3 Crucible weapons, 2 PvE weapons, one of them being a rocket launcher against high-ranking enemies, which can be annoying. So, good luck on those this week. And moving on to next week's weapons, we've got the Arminius D is making a comeback. If you do not have this little weapon right here, the Doctrine of Passing, you will want to pick this up, especially if we can get a really nice stability roll. This thing is pretty much equal to it. I still have a package on my Hunter waiting for that perfect roll. So buy this, buy it on multiple characters. That way, if there's a roll this week that can be alright, you can still wait for that better roll and pick up the decent roll. So that's just my little tip and advice. And we've got the Suros DIS-47 Scout Rifle. This thing can be a beast depending on the roll, so definitely pick this one up. You've got the Amelon U for an HC4 again, which again can be a great hand cannon depending on its roll as well. So definitely pick that one up as well. Then we've got the Lyumilla D Pulse Rifle. This is probably actually the worst weapon next week, but it's still a pretty good weapon. It was great back in the Pulse Rifle days before they got nerfed. However, it still can be good, so pick it up. It's a Hacky, which means it has a 4-burst shot instead of a 3. And then finally, we got the Suros PDX-45, which is another Pulse Rifle. This one is fantastic as well. This is the one that was basically like the Hawksaw. So this weapon is also very good, especially if you can get a good stability roll. So all the weapons next week are going to be really, really fun, really good to use, especially the Arminius D and the Euphron HC4. Those are the ones I'm looking forward to the most. Hopefully they have really good rolls next week. So anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you next time. Peach out.